Okay, there we go. Good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Important disclaimer and reminder for all traders and investors. This webinar is for educational purposes only and not a recommendation to buy or sell any particular financial instrument. Equities, futures, options, and currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risks. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the futures and options markets. Do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. The website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell equities, futures, or options. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this channel. The past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. Absolutely consult your registered financial advisor and your risk trading plan before ever investing or trading any financial instrument. Okay, we got that part done. Okay, so process, repeating the same part of the process over and over. So I drew out the support and resistance lines this morning for the half hour, and they went like this. Let's see if I have them. I'm going to draw them out pre-market. Yep, that's pretty much how I drew them out. Oh, no, not off of this. Oh, that's right. I do want to do off of this. Okay, so I want to show you a couple things. See that plus sign up? Verified. I want to show you. Close below. Right? Closes below. And it is a 5-point stop. Now, appreciate this is 6:44 in the morning, so it can be pretty choppy. Now, there's two ways to account for a close below, and this spells it out pretty quickly in terms of orthodox versus non-orthodox trading, right? And if you look at it, right, you get this plus sign here. You get the close below, but the point of control is not below. Now, I got to tell you, during regular trading hours, I'd take that. I'd have taken this, right? And I'd have taken this, right? Now, there's two differences here. If you use the full, I want to show you the difference in the stop so you can make your correct election. You can use the full bar, right? That comes out to, here I'll color, the full bar are these two right here. Okay, so this is if you use a 20-point stop on this trade, right? So I'm just going to start from the maximum stop. A 20-point stop on this trade survives, and it pays you all the way down to 23 3/4, right? Now, what I like to do, now I'm going to show you the most aggressive side. The most aggressive side would stop on the back of this body each time, right? So in that case, it would be a stop here, 5, 10. Got to count any slippage that you might get to, 5, 10, and then you get the break here again. So that would be an entry at 77 down to 23, 50 points. So you either risk 20, you took it twice on a full stop, but no matter how you did it, you got paid. Now, where would the trade go? Right, so I'm going to erase all of that. When I look at the 30-minute chart, my natural target on this would be, right, so this is when this occurred, right? This is when it rolled down. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you'll look, I usually, if I have a place where it rejected before, see how it came up, they attempted to short, then it broke out. So I'd put a line like that and create a little zone, right? So if you look at the way it worked, right? Now the market is coming down, right? And I'm looking for where is it likely to reverse. Well, when you look on this, I know all the volumes right there. So my targets become, if I'm going to short up here, target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. Now I can do the same thing on my 15 tick, right? Come up. Here's the plus sign, right? Here's the first short. This gets verified. Close underneath, right? So I'm going to make those green so you can see those. Let me erase that. There we go. Entry 1. It's underneath there. You took depending on how aggressive or how conservatively you put in your stop. You either took one stop or no stop, right? Because if you came in, if you entered here, and you put a 10-point stop, you survived. If you entered on the orthodox close below and you put a 10-point stop, you survived. No matter what you did, you survived that with a 10-point stop, right? If you used the bar itself and you were uber tiny and you're fast on the trigger, you could have used the faster triggers. But you'd have to be very fast. Most people don't like doing that, right? So entering. So now what are my targets back down? So this was a resistance zone. These were levels. These were levels coming up, right? These are all 30-minute levels coming down, and this was would have been a support resistance if I was drawing them. It would create a little zone because of the way the 30-minute bars lined up, right? So now if I'm short here, right, I'm going to target down. So this becomes my first target down here. So that's 2011 to 74, 30 some odd points. Target 2, target 3, target 4, and then so on and so forth. The next thing I'm doing is I'm looking for a long. So if I'm trading, it's pre-market, I can trade the 15 tick. If I'm looking at the 15 tick and I'm trying to figure out my long, right, I have two choices in here. Okay, I'm looking for where they're going to stuff this guy on the way down. Now you'll notice I've modified the arrows just to drop. I'll have that reprogrammed by this weekend and sent out. The more conservative, but if you get these stuffed on the way down, they tend to lift. So 1, 2, and then you add stretch, right? So you could have tried the long here. There would have been nothing wrong. You just would have gotten stopped, right? Again, down here, this got stuffed. You could have tried the long there as well. I have no issue with that. So now what else would have I used? And I want to turn off the no supply, no demand for a second. That's ID 9, by the way, if you need to turn it off on your 15 tick. Right? Just comes down, you turn it off, and now you're looking, right? What would be the setup here? Well, you'll notice when the plus sign gets stuffed, see how this plus sign gets stuffed? And you're at support outside the channel, right? Outside the channel is key here. This plus sign gets support. This bar is your entry with a 1 bar stop. You have to be out of the channel, just like this. Out of the channel. That one gets verified. Your entries either are closed completely underneath or underneath the body. We've gone through that, so I'm not going to repeat it. But very, very specific entries. What does that look like? Here, I'm going to show you. So I'll start to use these as verified bars, but outside the channel, right? 2 bars up, I enter, it's a 1 bar stop. Down, 1 bar stop. I want it to look exactly like this. That's part of the problem people are trying to figure out. You're not trying to figure out the turn. You're trying to figure out, well, when is it going to look exactly the way I want things that I want to look in exactly a specific way, right? So this is yesterday, right? When I'm down here, see how this is outside the channel? I want it to look in a specific way, right? I want it to look in a specific way for taking the trade. Outside the channel is a big clue, right? And then I want to line up my 30-minute levels is all I want to do. Now, I think the 15 tick will be too fast again today. The VIX is up there at 17 or 18. So what am I looking for in real time, right? I'm trying to pay attention just to the 24 tick because it gives me the look that I want, right? So I want to go over the low yesterday. So there's 2 issues with this low. Kamala Harris, if that's how you say her name, was doing some kind of whatever political thing, right? So if you look, how would have you figured out the long from down here? Well, first of all, this was a 30-minute level down here to start with yesterday. Here, I'll show you. This is so choppy it's hard to use, so you have to kind of go back to the prior day, right? So the levels would have been like this. If I was up here, the way I would have drawn this, let me think it through for a second. I said we're up here, so I would have had overnight unfair pricing marked off. And then I would have said this was the afternoon swing high and swing low. that level, this level, and probably that's it. Like, we knew we were kind of in a good area. Oh, and then one last thing. You were into the 50, 60 back. If you measured from the prior day's low to the current day's high, you were just behind the 50 retrace. So those were the pieces that were in place, right? So I knew I had a decent area in here. Just how do you figure it out through the chop becomes the question, right? So when you get down here, I'm outside the channel, right? So I get this plus sign over here. It's not at the low like this one was, but I still know it's a critical area, right? I know I have to get above that and really a point of control above to go. But the problem is she's yapping. She's starting right here at 10:30, right? So if you look off to the right, how did that resolve itself? So you're not asking what was the perfect solution. You're asking, well, what was the solution, right? And the market will tell you the solution was this. See this plus sign that got stuffed off to the right at a higher low? That's telling you someone's pushing. You had to both get above this guy, but you also needed someone that was pushing. So these were the first two that pushed, and these kind of offset each other. This guy pushed with no other response. You'll see they came back to backside test him, and then in the process of backside testing him, so here's where you go supernova. Here's the push down on the supernova. Here's the close above on the supernova, and that is the lift out. Now, we can go back and forth as to whether there was a better trade or an apex trap or anything else under the sun that you want to discuss. But I would take a picture of that and go, that's what a reversal looks like, or at least one possibility of a reversal, right? This was a possible reversal. Why? It came down, touched the 30 minutes, got the plus sign down. They touched, and they attempted to lift. Where couldn't I get this? I couldn't get a close below, or the trade's busted. I got a close below. Down it goes. Now I have to get above this guy. That happens here, right? They get above, they close back down, it goes down again. Again, she's yapping, so the difference is we're having news pieces interfere with us, right? So let me show you how that looks different. So when you're up here, and you're going, what does my short look like up on top? Okay, your short looks like this. See this guy right here? So first you have this guy stuffed, right? So I know if I get over him, we probably go higher. This guy gets verified above. So what don't I want? A point of control underneath. They come right back to him. They reject down. You get a delta thrust to the downside, and off she runs to the races, right? And if you look through there, right, this was stuffed, right? So if you get a point of control underneath this guy or gal, care who it is, point of control underneath, flush. That's how the trade worked. Same worked right over here. Plus sign, attempted flush, bar above, rip. Same thing here, bar above, rip. It doesn't work every time, but it repeats over and over and over again. Okay? So we will be using those with controlled stops and large extensions. That gives us a high win rate. It's going to float at about 67% when all is said and done. A high win rate and big extensions. Okay? That's all there is to say. That's how I'm going to do it. So let me set up the chart for this morning. Okay? So this is how this is going to work out. Race lines. First of all, yesterday's low, yesterday's high. We know those are all 30-minute highs. We don't have to think about that, right? So Globex. So I'm trading right here, right? So if you're going to go Simon, what do you want to trade? Here, here, here. Just going to create a little zone. See how that balanced back on the top of those 30 minutes? Here, here, and that's Globex low, right? We'll color Globex high and low red so we know where we are. And I'm going to lock those trades, right? Lock, that's not going to change. Lock, that's not going to change. Lock, that's not going to change. Oops, already locked it. Okay, and then I lock this. Lock. okay? And then I have another 30-minute level right there. That's where I'm looking. Where do I want to stay out of? That entire middle of that area. I want them to get above, below, whatever. I don't want to trade in there. Econ-wise, I have existing home sales at 9 o'clock, Eurozone consumer confidence flash, and existing home sales US. Earnings after the close. Google at the close. I need to put that down. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 2:30 p.m. Google's numbers at the close.
Your Google's numbers at the close alarm is set for 2:30 p.m.
Thank you. Skype. And so that's my 2 cents. That's where I'm looking to trade. Oh, and then below there, here we go. Bump below there, here, and then the prior day's low, and then underneath the low, obviously that would be a candidate, that's a candidate, that's a candidate. And so now I have my areas drawn up and down, and if I break the high, it'll look like this. Obviously I have this up here. All right. So now I know that was overnight. So let's go see what's in the US session, which would be, let's see, this is this. So this, and this. There you go. That kind of gives me the playing field up and down. Here I'll print that, and we'll just keep adjusting it as we go through the course of the day. There's nothing top secret about what I do in terms of this. The algos are where the money is, so I don't care about the rest of this. That's not exactly right down there at the low, but close. And we'll snapshot. And I would also mark off this area is important because of the single prints, right? But you already know you're going to break those 30-minute levels. Let's bring that in. I think we just opened. Photo. Full screen, new. There's the levels. I'm going to slide this over. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? We should make money today, bottom line. Like, there's no question in my mind that we should make money today. I'll be working off the 24 tick until it gets so slow that I'm forced back to the 15. I'll look at the 15, but that is what I am in pursuit of, or is my 24 tick chart outside the channels. Watching for my swing indicator to turn on if I can get the rest of the setup. And then I'm monitoring my Wyckoff waves on my other screen. I'm trying to keep the screen as absolutely clean as humanly possible. Okay? I'll say that again. I'm trying to keep my screen as absolutely clean as possible. Right? You do not have to be in a rush to make money. There were plenty of opportunities in the afternoon. There were plenty of opportunities through the morning. What you cannot be, right? What you cannot be is in such a big rush, right? You cannot be in such a big rush that you do not know which trade you're taking exactly. You'll see I put the yellow squares on there. I'll talk about that later, but we're using very specific ways to set up our trades, and we're going to go from there, okay? And by the way, my levels will be on this chart over here. 30-minute levels, because again, that is an effort for me to keep these charts clean. Okay. Oh, maybe these are carrying over the 30-minute levels here. They are. They're carrying it over on the 24 tick. Good. Okay. So that's where my 30-minute levels are. Obviously, you can adjust. You know that's the bottom of that 30-minute level, right? So they don't exactly carry over perfectly from one chart to the other. Has to do with the time frames on those two charts. They don't match identically, okay? They just don't match identically. That's all there is to it. Is anyone in the room confused? Is anyone in the room confused that's in here normally as to what we are looking for and why we are looking for it? So the yellow square is the old blue square. I just changed the color so it doesn't clash with the Blue Cross, White Cross Blue Shield algo setup. Same trade, same algo, right? So see this here? I'm quite clear. I don't want to close underneath this guy. That would be negatory, right? If I was trading 15 tick on a 24 tick, see this? Generally did not want to close underneath there. Closed underneath, they trap back in. Now that buyers regain control, they push back to the other side, right? And again, if you're new to the room, welcome. I tend to just skip the first 30 minutes so they can do whatever they please. Just doesn't bother me. Everyone I spoke to, even people who struggled yesterday, came back to me and said, "Hey, I struggled, but I'm profitable." That's a big deal to me. Get a close below that 59.50. That's a new algo that I'm working on. So it's just for observation purposes. But if we close below 59.50 now, that should release. Let's see chart number 4. Again, you'll notice that's going to also coincide with the getting below that plus sign. Yes, kind of grinding down a little bit there, but not breaking down. See how that plus sign was just there? You got to make sure you get the second bar down when it's on the turn bar. Okay, second bar, third bar, no problem. When that plus sign's on the first turn bar, it's got to have a second bar to stick. So the other way to interpret that is as long as we hold above 59.50, buyers got it. to unfair pricing, overnight unfair pricing now. And that 69, that 96 is the top of a 30-minute bar that they're trying to get behind the stops there at 96. Now we have the 5-minute IB high-low set. Close below 81.50 now. But also give a small release. And up to test yesterday's high. Up to test that 2015, 2016, which is Globex high. And I want to remind everyone, we're way down in the hole in what is otherwise a bull market on a very fast and rapid sell-off. I am not bearish. All right, I want to remind everyone, I'm just not bearish. Balancing and dancing around the prior day's high. I'm not working out the 15 tick because I think the range is too wide. That's an opening range of 34 to 33, 100 points in under 10 minutes, right? So I need a different measure. Plus sign stuffed, if you get above it, that's for continuation. Just keep that in mind. Above that 2013 now, that I don't know that it'll go up, but it's flagging that it'll go up. Why do I have my green lines in two different places? Oh, I know why. That would be why. So now I have it from someplace else. That wasn't very useful. Hold on. That's a close above. As long as it holds that 10, that's higher, right? I know it's outside the channel, but that's the rule. As long as it holds that 10, it's pretty much higher. It's actually a little bit less. It's like 12, but same concept, same idea. I'm going to plug these numbers back in really quick now that I erased them accidentally. What is this coming off of? Hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, so now it looks like this. Power high. So there's my support level. Here, here. See this point of control underneath? They try to break it down right there. This is gone. Okay, but they try to break that down. A close back underneath there again, like an 07 close. If you think they're going to release it, that's where the release would come from, right? Like that. So now it's a 1 bar stop, like it's 07 to whatever, 13 or 14. So that was the release. So what the way that worked was close below, stopped, close below, go, and you're looking for that big flush. When this algo gets finished, you look for the big flush. Where you're taking it back to, right here, 86 to 75, right? Unless you have a larger time frame objective on that trade. You also see the thrust, the TMP thrust at the top. Got stuffed outside the channel. I am working on fine-tuning that algo trade, but it is very good outside the channel. Like this right here, your stop is 91 on that, right? So you're just trading it. You're just trading it so that you know exactly where your structured entry, exit, and stop is, right? And so now all you have to do is like, is that a place I want to go long, or is that a place I don't want to go long? and then you're going to set up the trade appropriately from that point. Okay, and if you need to focus, right? So again, my brain gets going fast trying to do a bunch of trades, right? So what's the trade I want? That's most important to me. Close underneath the body of this bar. The whole premise starts with this. Get this, close underneath, don't get back above, right? And then all I'm doing is tailoring from there the size of stop I want and exactly how I want it to look. Like I want it to look like this, right? Up, close underneath, never get back above, and go. So I kind of want this. That's hard to get in the first 30 minutes because they kind of thrash it, right? They kind of thrash it around, so I have to adjust. And then I'm also trying to figure out, do I want it on the 15 tick, or do I want it on the 24 tick, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents about that. And that's how I kind of read the tape. And it would have worked opposite. That algo would have fired, I wouldn't have taken it, but it would have fired above here for the long, where that yellow line is. Okay, so would have I taken it? Probably not. And it's got to be slow enough. You know, the other element, it's got to be slow enough for me to draw the thing up, right? Like if I have 2 seconds to make the decision and I'm going through multiple sets, I basically have to rely on the plus sign or the delta stuffed, right? And the idea is to have very tight control over what you're trading, and you roll from there. These delta thrusts, once I get them fine-tuned, are going to be very important to our trading. Super important, as a matter of fact, I would say. We're in that 10-minute window where there's a lot of stops from 8:50 to 9 o'clock in the morning, Central Time. So choose wisely whether you want to trade there. And this is actually flagging short up here. So remember, this thing, everything has to align for this to work. This just tells me, hey, get a heads up, right? So when I see that and I see short, like I'm going to come over to this algo I'm developing and go, my short is underneath 2010. It's still this 2010 right here. And see how they use it as support? It's at 2010 right now. I got to get a close underneath and a hold underneath. And I don't want to pay any more than probably 7 points for that stop. And I wouldn't take it 8:50 to 9 o'clock, and my assumption would be is they're going to try and hold that, right? But normally, see that close underneath right there? If this wasn't at 8:50, 10 o'clock, I'd short that right there, 07, right? Breakout's now above 18, close above 201875. And obviously what I'm trying to do is get all this to set up inside and outside the channel is where the gravy is, right? So normally, if this has not been in that period, I'd have been short right there, right? 7 points of risk. That's a, whatever you want to call it, a 13 entry to 84, right? Back down into support. And I would expect a response out of here. Like that. Why? testing a 30-minute level. In just a minute, I'll have my first half-hour high-low set too, so I'll make adjustments. My level for the upside now changes to above 0775. If it gets too much, just ignore it. Work off the plus signs, right? That's the whole point of this. Okay, does everyone understand that? That's why you have your own chart. I've got to be able to show people where the levels are, right, that I'm hunting, plus the algo setup. That's why you have your own chart. Some people do the levels on one chart and watch the algo just on another, right? It gets confusing for me to do that, and you and I may be opposite, so just do it the opposite way, right? Do it a way that suits your style the best, right? Again, this should act right here as support. Remember, this got stuffed, so the close back above this guy on a 15 tick pushes them. I mean, we're right in front of numbers, so just keep that in mind. I still show the breakout will be over 2,775. What was the yellow line? Why did I draw this yellow line here? This yellow line was an old breakout point. There we go. Blue line was an old breakout point. It's the only pain about this. Red is Globex high. That's Globex high. Plus sign square. You can see them defending, so 1175 or 13 close should push you. You would not want it back down, let's put it that way. You certainly wouldn't want it underneath 07 again. Underneath the lowest of the two, a close below the lowest of the two, is what I would say, Brian. But really, really the better sign there is the plus sign up, the close below this, that plus sign. Here, this. That's what will get them in trouble. The only problem with that is at the bottom of the channel. So if you think about this strategically, if you can get this sign to move up here on the top of that, that's the sweet spot. So like you've got the concept right, so now it comes to strategy. Where do you want to see it appear? It's not that this can't work. The problem is, yes, I know we've been in a bear market, but one thing I don't want to rely on is continuously shorting at the bottom of the channel, because that'll get expensive as soon as the sell pressure lifts, right? And you'll start getting stopped on that over and over. And even if you get what will happen is when we stop this little period of sell off, you'll get like a 1 bar extension. It'll stuff it, get back above, and then ramp to the upside, right? So you want those signals all the way up in the top of the channel. I know it's frustrating because we'll go through a 1 or 2 week period where like that works great, but that's how you develop that boom bust mentality or scenario. You develop that boom bust scenario by constantly going, oh, but it's got to look like this, or it's got to look like, you know, this is working right now. So the way that works is, it is working right now. I'd rather have it in the top of the channel. And what will happen is, once everyone recognizes that the buying's back in, is you will get those set up off the top of the channel, because you won't have that pressure down low. You'll have it up high where people start chasing. Where those appear will change. Like this one right here. See that? Yes. That is pretty. And the way you measure whether you want to trade it at all, right? The way you measure whether you want to trade it at all is look at them. Stuffed. Am I getting 2 bars of extension without getting stopped? So this is 1. You short it again. 1, 2. Okay, I can live with that. Stuffed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Go look at them. So see, well, this one never triggered, right? Down, verified, closed above. 1, 2, 3, 4, and add infinity. But where you want to stop your trading, like where you go, oh, this isn't working, or the range is too big, is if you start measuring these. Let's see, like overnight would be a good place to look. Like, okay, so see how this is starting to require perfection? You go underneath, 1, bam, stuffed. Underneath, 1, bam, stuffed. So what you would do is you go, oh, well, they're stuffing them all, right? So what you would do is you'd wait. See here how you start the extension again? Now you can see, oh, they're getting underneath. Look, they're pushing. So now, right, when I get up top of the channel, now I close underneath this guy. First time stop, that's all right. But the second time finally gives you the extension. That's the end of the day, so it wasn't the greatest example. Or what you want to do is in that same time frame go, oh, they're stuffing them. They're stuffing on the 24. There may not be enough rotation size. So now come over here and adjust your entry off the 15, right? So that you get your extension. And the way you measure that is, instead of losing your mind if it doesn't work, right? Go, do I need to be on the 15? And stop for a minute, go back and observe, and then fix the problem, right? Whatever the problem may be. So let me see how I need to align this. We're right back into support in that 84.75 area. And I would say the long is going to come above 95. We should get an extension away. Okay, so now the point of the break right now is this 95. That doesn't mean if we don't get set up from over here that we can't find a trade. But I know up over 95, let's put it this way, I wouldn't want to be short and I would want to be long at that point. And now you can see how that 95 now is lining up with the verified plus sign down. I know if I get over it, I probably have some kind of push. The question is, how am I going to manage the risk around the trade, so on and so forth. And you'll also notice this is now pushing into the back, that 75 area of that support level, right? So instead of just taking it blindly, I'm looking for a reason, like a forced delta, getting over this bar on the 15, so I don't have to catch it down, because it triggers me to start just taking it over and over as it goes down, right? So I need a trigger somewhere here, like this. If this got stuck, right? So like, I'd put a limit at 74, right? Why? Because I know 74 minus 10, I'm all right. So I can't get that now, right? It's going to print below. So now it would be 77, right? 77 minus 10. I can live with a 10-point stop. So I'll put a limit, a buy limit, 77, right? With effectively a 1-bar stop, right? With effectively a 1-bar stop. That way I'm not guessing as it's coming down and going, we're at support. Simon said that's support. I'm going to buy it. Oh, I took a hit after hit after hit. So now for me, it would actually be this 74 right here. If it printed, see, yes, see that 74 printed? So I would buy that with like a 5-point stop. So like 69 or 68 would be my stop there, right? Why? Because it printed. Now I'm going to get the next one up. It closed over that bar down, right? And so I know, see how I know where it's coming? I can see where these are printing. This one got above, lift. Now I have to get above my 81 was what I, 95 is what I said, and it's still what I would say. Still what I say, it's just too far away now. So we need a reset there. But I'm watching as it went fast, right? And I appreciate that. I got to support. I don't want to buy support blindly. So I need my delta stuff down here. And once I get over my delta, right, I can use that. What I would have really liked would have been to get a plus sign right here or a plus sign right here, right? So I'm trying very hard to keep these charts clean, and they get busy pretty damn fast, right? So I'll erase this again. Why do I have so many lines? These lines are coming off of the 30-minute levels. That's why I have so many lines there. That's fine. So now I know what I am looking for, right, in that area. So see, I wanted an excuse. So the way to think about it, I wanted an excuse to get long. But if I just traded the level, I got blown out. There's not many people that can buy 84 in day traders and are going to stay at 60 and take a $500 contract pop. There's just not, right? But now I have this, and I know, hey, this should hold within 5 points. Let me manage the risk out of here, right? And that becomes an easier task. And now what you'll see is, see how it's coming back into that 30-minute level? The reason why, in my estimation, that it's behaving like this is because people bought it when it came down here, right? They saw that it bounced already. They saw that it bounced here. So what would you do if you had bought it and it goes all the way to 60 and you bought it at 85? I'd have been like, thank you. Thank you for letting me back in on the trade, right? By the way, this 95 now is just going to act as resistance instead of breakout point. I'll just wait on it, right? They're going to push right into that, and they're going to find resistance in that area. So I'll wait for, when I get this, I don't know what I'm going to call this white line or this algo, but when I get this, I want it to be tucked down close, like this one was up here, right? So this one came, this break came here. Oh, no, I'm wrong. 1, 2, here. That's where that break came from, up on top. Right, so if you look at that, so they got over the 95, and as soon as they got over the 95, it broke. It just was too high in the channel for me to take it. So if you look over here, this set, right? Well, damn, I don't know where it's set, but it didn't set. 1, 2, 3. It's set here. Okay, it's set on this bar, so entry 1, right? Went 1, 2, you got your risk off, stopped you. Entry 2, and it flushed. Or you could have used the, see, this bar wasn't set yet, so you had to get it back above, but you could have just used the single 24 tick, okay? But the point is, we're not trying to go all the way through there. And again, I want to say this. If you need to rely on one algo, one setup, my strong suggestion is you work that plus sign, particularly the stuffed plus sign, right? If all these different options throw you, okay, if all these different options throw you, this is not the chart I'm working off of, this is. and right back to the high. Highs of the day, or close. We're not quite there yet. Are we? No. A little ways to go. We're at Globex high. I got nothing up here on the 15 or the 24 for that matter, so I'll just hang out nicely and wait. But you'll notice if you're coming in bearish, we're not having the same sell programs that they have. As a matter of fact, they're much more gentle all the way around. That should come back and retest the 45.75. And you had that entry, by the way, right here. And we had the breakout labeled right there. If anything, I goofed mentally by just not taking that trade. Here comes the 45.75. Well, first we'll take out the 39. 36. Or at least they'll try. That's not me entering orders, just trying to scroll through some options. And now a close under 14 for me would tell me that they're at least attempting to break to the downside. You're going to have a delta thrust stuffed on the 15, and I need to close below the 14 to let it go. There's a close below the 14, and it's generally a 10-point stop max from that. That should let go. Or potentially let go at least. Stop is clearly 19 max on that. Did this make sense? Much better? Okay, good. Just like that. That's exactly, so the way it's supposed to work is close below, 2-bar scale. So now, see how it closed below here? Your stop is 19, and you're looking for 2 bars down. Now you have to tie that into, how do you trade and what is your read on the market? Are we going lower? Are we going higher? I happen to not be bearish, so I'll probably miss a bunch of shorts, right? A bunch of shorts, right? But if I got that same setup from the long side, I'd be willing to take the stop on it all day long because I'm bullish after so many days down. Now, am I wrong about that? Completely possible. If you ask me about my read on the market and its accuracy versus the algo's read on the market and its accuracy, I'm in like the minor leagues, right? There's bar 1, 2000. Now it's going to test into that 94.75, which was the breakout point before, right there. Now, there's bar 2. Scale off your risk, move your stop to break even, keep your fingers crossed, and go, please, Mr. Sandman, roll that baby down. And there you go. I can do nothing. There is no 30-minute support here anymore. We got to adjust the chart. If it is, they're just using it from an old support level. But your bottom of your 30 minutes is this. That blue line down there. And then your next 30 minutes is we're still working on 1, 2. Why is this like this? Letter blocks and column. It's working on 1, 2. That's correct. First half hour, second half hour. Oh, I stand corrected since it's not complete. That's right. Okay, got it. Too many lines still. I had to work on finding a better solution to that. Up to 2016. I didn't have a trigger point on that particular chart. Right up into resistance. It's the old where we broke down, revisited the scene of the crime. See, the pace has slowed down a little bit from yesterday, so now this stuff is starting to work again. See that? You can tell it's dropped. Delta stuff. Right? Delta stuff. Tweezer top. Chop, chop, chop. And now I really don't have a picture of which way they want to push it. And if you look at the profile, right, we're just overlapping the top end of the range from overnight on Globex. And this is a pretty chop area. Here, this is where they were trying to break out yesterday. Onto my palette of colorization. That's where we failed yesterday. Plus sign down stuffed, you get below that, that'll generally release. And now I would erase all these lines here and let it reset. So red is Globex high, orange is yesterday where they were trapping and trying to break out above, and you can see That's where we're going through the consolidation. You see a little cup and handle forming there on the 15 and on the 24. 24 has more work to do on the cup and handle. And most importantly, guys, we can relax. We will have enough setups. You don't have to fly all the way through this thing constantly, right? We will have more than enough setups to get us paid. If you'll manage the risk on the entry, you will get paid on the exit enough times. Right now, my level for a breakdown comes underneath 06, that green line right there. This 06, or below, that would be my breakdown. That would also coincide with getting underneath the plus sign too. And now I don't have to do anything, right? Where the majority of the stops are coming from is tagging the very top. I know I'll have had the momentum flip for me and buyers stuck above. This algo is going to be super powerful for us once I get it done. Okay? And now I can just sit here and wait for that to occur. Right? What I have to fight is my desire to short off the edge. Like that delta surge right here, that 19, would be interesting to me, right? In terms of a stuff there. I didn't get it, but that would have been a very interesting stuff right there against yesterday's attempted breakout point. Above lies that's IB high up there at 2036.25. But see how I could have gone easily in my head, oh, it's going to reject out of here. That's yesterday's resistance point, right? I'm just going to short that. Well, damn, now I'm down 10 points, right? So wait for the process to light you up. By the way, now my level changes to this. I think it may still be at the same point. It is. Prior day's high. Which is why I didn't want to be shorting. And we've broken above that entire overnight consolidation. Oh, and the other thing I missed that we need to point out, parallel plus signs down like that, when you close above them, I'll just draw off I guess we're going to draw off the top of them like this. Yeah. So even with cleaning it up, it's still a lot, right? But that's okay. We'll get it. I would say you have support right now for this move down at 2007.75. There you go. Okay. I'm good. I love you. My lovely therapist helping me out. Oh, my bad. Got it. Sorry, Randy. I didn't see it. There we go. Sorry, brother. I had it on. A little late on that, wasn't I? Okay, so see those parallel downs? when you get above them, right? Parallel delta pushes. Someone pushed really hard there, right? Get above that or below that. Either way, doesn't much matter. That's usually the release. So it would be 30 would be the release. And it was quick. And you wouldn't want it back above 34, so like a 39 stop. Bye-bye. Thank you for participating. The support is 0775, roughly. Came close, 0850. Not quite. This is much easier, this layout, it's much easier for me to read price action on this, like by 100,000 miles. See, if we tag this 07 now, you're going to set up a potential apex trap. Except they can't get a lift off of it. Delta stuffed on the 24 tick middle of channel. So you have to be playing for continuation on that, which I'm not. Back to the stuff plus signs. Rejection right off of them. Stuff delta pushes, sorry. We're pretty much nailing where all these guys are trapped, right? It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Plus sign stuffed, you get back above that now and you can make another push for the high. Again, it'd be nice if we could try. I'd like all of this outside the channel at the bottom for the longs, right? This is just kind of noise up here on top in between the channel. again, this is Globex high, yesterday's high where they really struggled to hold above it, right? Uh-oh, failure again. Now get you underneath this, and that's a release to the downside. And they're chopping around a little bit. That should be short. Bar 1 and bar 2. You'd look to scale at that 15 if you're working off the 15. You'd look to, I don't know what you'd like to do here. There's a lot of noise in here. You need 15 to get bar 2. You should be able to get it. Oh, by a tick. You should take that scale if you shorted that. Is it still coming through? I just muted it, Bill. Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir. Over 2024, I'd have another attempt to the upside. Again, you got to remember, we're trading at the top half of yesterday's range, and we are down a bunch of days in a row. A bunch. close above 0575. Should give us a little lift. So 08 would be the trigger off the 15, the 13 would be the trigger the other way. Limit 08 with a max 10-point stop. I'm putting that at 99.25 on that stop. Looking for 2 bars. 1, scale half out at 15. Come on, got it. Now free ride, or you can move your stop to break even and hope it rips. Plus sign stuffed at the bottom. You need the 19 to print on that. You're still lacking on the 24. So if you want to use the 24, you got to use a bit bigger stop there. So I'd say 99.25 still. And on the 24, you're looking for 19, about 30. That's what you're looking for your first scale. So see how the pace has slowed down, and I've jumped from the 24 to the 15 for my trades. Okay, there's a reason for that. The velocity has dropped to where I can process on the 15, and I don't need the 24. Right? Why do I want the 15? Because I can get smaller stops on the 15 tick. So I'm vertically moving over and going, oh, I can trade off of this instead, right? Same levels, same triggers, but different stop sizes and different extension expectations. Plus sign down at the low on the 15. This is stuff, so the breakout will now come above the 20 in my eyes. And I now need and my early breakout comes over 07. So on the 24, right, on the 24, if you're using the plus sign, that's a stop, right? I'm all right with it. Plus sign stuffed, closed underneath, released to the downside. It's chopping in the middle of the range. Like if you look where it's still inside intraday value, and we're back down into overnight value, right? And I'm looking for either delta stuff, plus sign stuff, and it's getting complex, right? So I'm just going to chill for a minute and see if I can figure out the pattern. Way outside the channel, would love to see that get stuffed. It would be 89 for the stuff out of IB high. We came down to intraday unfair pricing, 75. So I'm looking at, damn, this is getting harder than I thought it was. They're holding that mid of that area that we've had as support all morning long, 84.74. And now my break point comes right here, above 93. 1 bar stop. That also will serve as resistance the first time in there. So that 96.75 is long, and it's also short if it doesn't print. I'm limit 96.75 with a 10-point stop. No love. See? How to print it. Still does. No order pending. Delta stuff down here. Stop 72 against that on a 24. It's a different trade, right? Don't get overwhelmed. Just the stops down there at 74, 72.50, whatever you want to draw it off on. $96.75 again. I'm in 96.75. Stop 86.75. I have no idea if there's news or anything else out there. I'm just following the bouncing ball. It should not close below that 89, so I'll leave my stop where it is, but it should not close below there. I'll let it hit me, or not. Or take me up to that 06.75. Limit 04 for the scale, got it. Half off, free ride. Right into resistance at 08. Let's see if it pushes. Is this helpful, guys, or is it too fast now? Everyone please mute if you're not. Good job, Brian. Okay, I'm trying to work the chart. It's hard when it's fast, right? The other part is you'll notice, right? I've got 30 years experience doing this day in, day out, right? It is damn hard for me to trust this, right? I feel like an idiot taking the trade right here, but it is the totally right thing to do. Idiot, right? Like I'm like, sign me up as the town frickin' schmuck. Good job, Randy. See, that should work as support now. Down here, that plus sign should. This bar right here. Barring all other news or anything else coming out, we should bounce right off of that thing. That's fine. Take out the low. Bottom of the range into unfair pricing. Plus sign down. There's my delta surge. I have it long above here. News must have hit somewhere. And what in the world is going on? Is there like a news source I'm not aware of where they do these massively fast liquidations? It's weird. Delta stuff coming up at 55. Man, we are in bizarro land. You know that? Bizarro land. I have no idea what would have just hit the tape that would have made us trade like that, but no setup. I need to close above 56 to go. Nothing? There's nothing across the tapes? That's just bizarre. Nothing, huh? We're just cleaning the house, huh? Wow, that is some wicked, wicked stuff, guys. That's all I gotta say. The breakup point is, I wish I had that short. The breakup point is right here. So I will attempt it, but all the momentum just flipped. We just swept the entire freaking range out of the blue, frankly. You need to close above 48 and a quarter now. Actually, higher than that. Sorry. $60 and a quarter. That sucks. I did not see where that came from, and that was straight 40, 20, 40, 940, 100-point drop. But there's no news. At least nothing I see. That's all that matters. So, whatever. All good. Stuff delta down there at the bottom at IB low. Pace seems to slow down. I don't know what happened in one of that 10-minute window, so wow. I really thought we would bounce this week. It looks like I am totally wrong because there's just no bullish price. It's not bearish and it's not bullish now. It's just balance, which is all right, but wow, how we're sweeping the ranges. Like, just amazing how we're sweeping the ranges. But that's good. I just need to adapt to that concept, which I will. I don't know what I was thinking. I gotta fix this, guys. Sorry. Breakout comes out over 51.75 now. There it is. I'm long 56. Stop 46. I'll take it up to twice. Obviously, just like everything, it doesn't work every time. Next scale, 63. No fill so far. No fill. Close, no fill. Or I'll just sit here patiently. One of the two. Yeah, my stop is 46. Okay. 63 is my first scale. Got it. Now I'm happy. I've got a long signal, so I'm going to push that, guys, on the balance. Here we come up into that 30-minute resistance area. That served as support all day long. This did. Okay. This fails below 58, just FYI. Right now. Again, I do not short just pure location. Works sometimes, blows you up other times. And that's an impulse move up, by the way, if you're trying to figure that out. On the wave. Definitely biggest up wave of the day on a 15 tick. By a mile. By a mile. I would assume that 60 to 51 will act as support now. Yeah, I agree with you, Nate. Did you get that short? 'Cause that's beautiful, brother. It's not a short. I don't know what caused that bullshit move, fat finger or what that was, but they're just sweeping the range. There's nothing on the tape. It's not short. If it was, it's just not short. What a massive buy wave. I just have nothing. All I see is that the Secret Service Director, Kim Cheadle, has resigned. That's all I see on there. So maybe it was all just news algos working off of that because it's stabilized now. And our little long indicator lit up at the 4th of July. So that's exactly how you trade that right off the bottom. Is you get that level, which I believe was, what did I have it marked at? 51.75, and you let it rip. 50 points. It's a lot of money. Now they'll sweep it to the other side of the range. That was some BS. That was an entire sweep. That's what news algos can do. But look at the buy wave. It's just immense. Look at it. It's the biggest wave of the day. So I would not short that off the bottom. I wouldn't buy it blindly either. That's what it needs to close underneath to go lower, if it's going to go lower, that yellow line. Notice the delta surge stuffed up there is what's keeping a lid on it. But yeah. Is probably just all news driven, and if that's the case, if that's really why they sold it, because she resigned, they're just going to run it to the other side of the range, guys. I mean, it's what I would do. It's what everyone would do. It was totally on auction. They just sold it all. So what do they got to do? buy it all. So whatever that move was down, they're going to mirror it back up. So expect to be not surprised when you see it over here. Let's see, that started here. Really, it started in earnest over here, so expect them to re-auction all the way back to over there. Nothing you can do about it. It was just bullshit news. But you got the entry point, right? It's 50 points off the entry. Like, that's something to actually celebrate, not be upset about. I'm just bummed that I didn't see it coming. I am going to agree with you 100% on that, Brian. Ha! It's all right. You'll get it. Just build over time. Stay consistent on size. That was perfect. Look at that. You did this, and you do this. You've got almost a 100-point trade on your bar. It's hard to see that off that V shape, but that coincided exactly with our long swing indicator. And then the size of that buy wave was enormous. Hey Brian, we're trying to algo it, so I don't even really want to discuss it for reasons that you know about. I'm trying to get it set up so I can distribute it, but it just tells me when to swing. I know people are going to hate that, but you know what just went down with me, and it's going to take me a little bit to relax about that. Yeah. The idea is it tells me when things are too overstretched. It's an overbought, oversold indicator, basically. When that thing lights up blue, you're looking for ways to get long, right? Sometimes it ends up being a large balance area and it gets tricky. Sometimes it works just like this. So I haven't ironed out. I haven't put A, B, C, D all together yet. Although this getting stuffed while this is on is very, very common and leads to these huge 100-point stretches. And back to the scene of the crime, because everyone got short thinking it's going to zero, and now everyone is going, oh, it's no big deal. It's the director of the Secret Service. Actually has zero impact on me. Just, if you need to short, wait till you actually get a short signal would be my suggestion. Because right now, that is pure buying, baby. Ain't no one trapping themselves yet either. Not a soul. Right now, the earliest guess I would have, and it's a guess, it ain't even clear. Got to get below 98.25. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a break, guys. I don't like when markets go straight down, straight up on. It's just a thin market. It's all right. It's no big deal. I got the long, so I'm good. I just would have liked to have more long. Back in a little bit. Give me about 15 minutes. Guys, you realize the importance of this is even if you thought it was short, right? You see there's not a single short setup all the way through here, right? All the way up. No short signal. And we got the long signal. We're long from 50, whatever it was, 1 back over here. $52 quarter, right? Like you can't ask for much more. You just can't. I guess you could. There's no point to it. Like that's freaking incredible. I guess if you have it, just hold it. Whatever. It's unlikely to come back on you. Look at that. It's just the biggest buy wave I've seen all the way through there. It's just crazy. Look at that. Bam, they all panicked. Shorts just figured it out. We got to cover. Look at that. We have got to cover. Did everyone do okay this morning? Joyce, did you get it? Yeah, Joyce, I called out to everyone. I said if we trade, I said I was developing a long. And I said if we trade above 50, I said if we trade above 48, when we close above 48 quarter, right? And that was right here, that it's long, 10-point stop, right? So it closed above, that's long, 10-point stop. I forget where I put my stop exactly. And that was it. And we're deep in the hole. We had 3 waves down. And then let's see what else might have been there. Oh, you had delta stuffed at the bottom. right? And then finally, see the plus sign that got verified? And you closed above the plus sign for the long, for additional long. Like, it's really picture perfect trade setup. The only problem is my mindset was trying to figure out where I messed up, and it wasn't a big mess up, just where I messed up was I was looking for why we were going down instead of paying attention to the indicators. So shame on me. I can't discuss that, Joyce. It's a new algo I'm developing, but I will not discuss it. I've had someone basically steal the algos and try to start their own room. They couldn't steal all of them, but just no more discussing the algos. Just that's it. One person too many. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just pissed. And we'll have it developed so it flashes up on the screen, or I'll tell you where it is until I can get it done, but no mas. Too much work to have someone come in, write them down, and get a close facsimile of them. Right? Luckily, these two are pretty complicated, so it won't be that easy. But yeah, I'm pissed. Good, Brian. What do you want to process on all your stops? You trade in the first 30 minutes, right? I really suggest strongly you just blow that 30 minutes away. People do great on it until they don't. No one talks about when they get their ass beat. Yeah, it looks great until it doesn't. That's the problem. Same thing with Fed speakers, ECB speaker, Fed day, if there's minutes, right? Leave all that stuff alone. Keep your money. All of it, leave it alone. Man, what a, just look at that. Not one short setup. Let's try that again. Damn it. Sorry for the language. How it goes. No shorts all the way up. I can't believe I got the long, actually. Tell you the truth. And I'm glad I freaking let the trailer go. Look at it. It's just freaking flying. You're up 125 points from where we entered.
Hey, Simon.
Hey, buddy, hold on. Hey, gotta ask you a favor. You had Matt's room blasting in my room this morning.
I did?
Yeah, you didn't mute out when you came in for some reason.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's all right. So what's going on?
Okay. Yes. So I'm about to hop on with them.
Okay.
And, I guess I just wanted to know, like, do you really want it to look like the alert builder? Because that would be a whole different thing. Or can we just, like, shade the top or use Sierra options to show when to get in and out, you know, or when to short, when to long?
Can someone see that that's what I'm using if they if they look into it?
See what?
The settings that I'm putting in? Like,
No,
can-
that's not the thing. We'll lock everything. It's just, so you know how you have it set up to my alert builder? It's a different study. It's that whole block I have.
Right, right.
So to make it exactly like that will be more work. I just don't know if you want to put more work into it or if you want to just use stock Sierra stuff. Like,
If you're telling me we can do it with stock Sierra stuff, do it with stock Sierra stuff.
okay, so you're okay with like shading above the candle red or something or a different signal?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, or just like a little red line that goes across, or a little blue line that starts lighting up underneath the bars, or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I just don't want anyone. I don't want anyone to be able to look at it and go, "Oh, this is what he's using. I can copy it."
Yeah. No, I mean, they're all locked when you get them, so that wouldn't be the thing.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd like it to be able to be variable, so we can adjust it on our end.
So
Some from the
number,
lock side.
The gap on that, you mean?
Yeah, so like we'd like to be able to go in and adjust the gap amount if necessary.
Yeah. Oh, and last question. Do you want it to do 3 EMAs or 2?
What is this right now?
This is 2, but Bill uses a third one when he was doing it, so I just didn't know if you wanted that option.
Do the third one. I mean, why not? It can't take but an extra second to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
that'll be perfect. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
See you. Bye. Guys, y'all should be out of your trade, by the way. You get this plus sign up here. That should be sufficient. Like, that's picture perfect. Did anyone carry the trailer at all besides me? That's all right. You'll get it next time, Joshua. Randy, by the way, you had location, or if you wanted to say what location was possible, the location that was possible was because it took out the first hour low, trapped back in, and shot to the other side of the range. Any questions, guys? I thought it was awesome. I wanted more. I wanted it to come back. So look, this is what I wrote in my journal. I'm going to put it down right now. Way too much thinking about why, and way not enough thinking about take the signal, Simon. So this is going to be your C game. Every time you ask why, move over and take your process. So let's do it. Let's do it with me, not knowing what's going on, right? And without using the algo that I have kind of off screen right now, that I'm finishing up. So if I do it that way, this is how this worked. Okay, number one, from the top, right? Let's go through this step by step. And let's erase all these lines, which means we'll just duplicate this chart. F6. Well, it'd help if I could hit the button correctly. Okay, Sean asked me to record it. He can't stay on, so I'll record it. Okay. So Let's see if I can figure this out. And when I record it, I got to go through the whole thing, but that's fine. Really, this is so frustrating. Hold on. What's this? Oh my gosh. Hold on one second. I'm totally frustrated. Forgive me for a second. Hold on one second. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to fix it. Two seconds, guys. Jeez, they made that so freaking hard to do. Record. Unmute the microphone. Mic check. Wow, that was incredibly difficult. Okay. Okay, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, doing a quick, brief trade review from the top to the bottom and back up again. Okay, without making things overly complicated, we're just going to look at just what the algos would have told you to do. Okay, so we came up here at 9:15. First thing you'll notice, we created an apex trap over here to the left. I wasn't looking to short because I was not bearish. So how would have I done it if I wanted to short to the downside? Well, my first short opportunity that was just a 2-bar combo, quick, clean, and easy, would have come from one of two places. Let's see, dun, 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 right here. See how you have these two parallel bars next to each other? Okay, you put a line underneath them. If you get a close underneath, right here, it's a 1-bar stop. It's about 10 points. 1, 2, that gets you better than 1-to-1 RR off of that trade, and you ended up with 1, 2, 3, which is about 15 points to the downside. It then, right, if you watch, you then get a TMP delta bar stuffed and up, right? Now you get 1, right? Your stop's 10 points behind this bar. 1, 2, 3. You can risk 10 points, you get about 15. You then get a delta bar up, stuffed, right? So if you'll notice, those are showing up quite a bit and paying quite nicely. So as you come down, right, you now have a couple of areas to choose from. Again, these don't write and rewrite, so this is a pretty quick recording, right? So as I'm coming down, if I'm looking long, and I am, and I recorded this, so we'll go back and at the end of the day, I'll edit it out and post it again. Delta bar reversal, and I said that's at IB low. Are they going to actually save it at IB low? That's a long, right? Now I had a long set up at 52 from another algo that's not on the screen, so I'm not going to use it, right? And then I get, but then within this process, that would be long one, right? This, close above this bar right here, right? I've got a white cross blue shield algo set up. I get the bar stop out across the top. I close above right here and see you. You're paid. And in addition, that entire time, we had this algo lighting up, which told us we were looking for longs in general. So just because it lights up doesn't mean we do go long. What it means is we start taking our trades on process one by one. Does anyone in the room have any questions about that? Joshua, Sean, Brian, did I do a good job explaining that? Nate, Peter, Randy, anyone? Bueller? Cool. So that's how it works, right? And you'll notice I was just targeting specific areas, and then if you really want to come, you really want to put the bonus on there, you took out IB low, right? Trapped back in, shot the range, right? Hard to tell when you were right here, right? It's hard to tell right here that this is going to be the result. As a matter of fact, for someone who made money on that trade, I sure whined the whole way, right? And what caused that return was this right here, right? And if you didn't take the trade, start marking them down. How often do you get that signal? How often does it work when it gets stuffed? You can see it on the 15 tick too, right? So here, a little bit different picture. It's a faster chart, right? Win, loss, no trade, win, and no trade. And let's see if we had any earlier, just so I'm not picking off the most recent. These would be stops up here if you were taking them at 923. And win. Like, I'm not sure why you would take them at the very, very top, but that's what it was. And win at 909. So you have great places to focus your trading opportunities from, and there's a lot of ways to do it, right? But all you have to do is stay consistent in the trade that you're taking, and you should have very nice trading days, as most of y'all are. So anyways, thanks. This is how you get a hold of me, by the way, as a side note, if you're interested in a 5-day pass. So I've introduced this thing. It's brief. It's just a test. I'm not sure how long I'm going to let it hang out, right? $100 for the first month, then $299 per month after that. That's how much it costs. If you email me, the cost won't change. It's $100 a month for the first month, $299 per month after that. And if $299 is too much, I'm cool with that. There's a lot of $50 rooms out there, right? So I've been getting some pushback on the $299, and I am not a social service. So I am a trading coach. That is what I do. Anyways, done, and off I go.